Hello and welcome to the Dual Crowns campaign. This campaign I shall be playing Hearts of Iron 3 with the World War I 1.0 mod installed. It's, well, in my opinion, it's a really good mod. A lot of work was put into it. You could tell because there's so many aspects of the game have been changed, and so many different technologies have been changed, so many different units have been changed. It's all a new balance, and it's a quite well put together mod. The team, whoever made this, they did a good job. So we're gonna get right started. Now, because of the name of the campaign, I assume the flag's on the thumbnail. Some people can assume we're going to be playing as Austria-Hungary. And those people would be right. We're going to be playing on probably... Because I'm not that good at Hearts of Iron, I'm going to just play normal, like hard difficulty. And we're going to get started. And the first couple episodes of this series are going to be, at least in my mind, incredibly boring to watch, because it's going to be mostly me just building units, repositioning units, making armies, corps, field, like, just general preparation for a war that's going to show up in a couple of years. So, yeah, it's going to be tough to get through for people who like action. Just need to change a couple of settings, I forgot to. There you go. So, first things first, when playing Hearts of Iron 3, from what my experience has told me, is that you're just going to ignore politics. So you just want to make sure it's on AI control. And normally, for technology, just always go for infantry tech, no matter which game you're playing. or mod of Hearts of Iron, because it's infantry almost always going to be the base of your army. And they're going to be Finny reliant to hold territory, and even more so in the World War I mod, they're going to be the ones that take territory also. Well, then after infantry, at least in this mod, you're going to want to go for the artillery techs, because you're always going to need artillery. As Austria-Hungary, I'm not going to really need to use much in the way of ships, because, well, even if I started building right now, my navy would never match that of France and the UK, so it's just really not even worth it. So probably going to just, where does it go? Military aircraft design. It's a one, like, for those of you who are new to Hearts of Iron 3, you see the year appears our current date, and then this is the year this technology becomes, like, ready to research. And if you research ahead of time, you get a massive penalty to research time. But since this is only a year ahead, it's not so inefficient that I'm gonna not start researching it. So I'm just gonna leave it on there for now. Supply transportation, civil defense, and all that, those are all good. Doctrines are very useful because upgrades, whenever you research a new upgrade, you're going to have to, no, I'm not going to cancel it. Whenever you research a new upgrade, you're going to have to spend industrial capacity to upgrade your units. And with doctrines, all you have to do is just research it, and it's pretty much instantly applied to the unit, and they give them instantaneous benefit. So it's always a good idea just to research the different doctrines for the units that you're using. And that's pretty loud thunder. I normally do not use espionage that much, but it's helpful. Diplomacy, oh yeah, you just right click on this and it locks it in place so you don't have to worry about it. And then diplomacy, I'm just going to put 2 points in because I'm going to be influencing a couple of factions to the Central Powers side, but I don't need that many diplomacy points for that. And officers are always going to be important. As long as you always have enough officers, you're not going to have any penalties to combat. Or if you have more than enough, it goes up to, I think, a maximum of 140%. You get a benefit, but if you fall underneath 100%, you're going to start seeing your troops not do as well in battle, and it's going to really hurt your chances of victory against a better organized foe. Now, doctrines and naval and air doctrines aren't as important for me right now, and so I'm just going to keep with what I'm researching right now. This is kind of a very poor tutorial for the game, if you've never seen this before, so I'm sorry for that. But it's been such a long time since I played it, I do not quite know what to cover all at once, so as we go through, I'll just explain the different things. Now, as an Iron player, I normally tick Automate Trade, simply because it allows me to not have to worry about the economy system of the game, which I have not taken time to learn yet. I'd rather concentrate on production and sort of thing to do with the deployment of armies. But for people who like to just see what countries need, say rare materials, and then you can trade them for money, and then buy their surplus at cheaper than what you could buy from someone else, sort of thing. I hope it made sense. And yeah, to deal with the distribution of leadership I was talking about in the technology tab is that I only spend so much or so little on diplomacy simply because all I use it for is influence in certain nations that need a bit of coasting to my side of the war. And, well, probably going to use it on some of the South American countries just because. And maybe even Spain. Bulgaria, the Ottomans, and I think a couple other ones naturally join our side as the war progresses on in a couple of years, but everyone else we're going to have to convince they have to join our side. Actually, might as well just try and get Siam. They're a pretty good nation to have because where they're located in the world, it's France and Britain, so they can provide a distraction for French and British troops in the area and give us a little bit less to worry about when it comes to the main fronts. Because my main enemy is going to be Russia, and depending on what Italy does, they might end up being my enemy too, simply because that would be another front I'm going to have to watch. And the silly thing about all Hearts of Iron 3 AI, like your allies, they don't ever move in your territory to help out, so you're kind of on your own. Unlike what happened in the Medieval 2 campaign, where my allies came to my city to help rescue me, in this game they're just gonna sit on their border, and they'll go one province into your territory. So say this is taken by, say, Switzerland, Germany would take this back, but they wouldn't take funds because it's too far away from their own border. It's kind of silly, but it's the way it works. So before we get to the deployment of the armies, I'm just going to take a look at the production tab. And normally I just, whenever, like, SSR, I just check back in here every once in a while, make sure everything's going all right. Like, we don't need production right now, we don't need supplies right now, so we're going to put most of the available industrial capacity into upgrades, just to allow our troops to become better before the war breaks out. Even though it's still 4 years away, it's probably going to take a long time to upgrade them all to the proper level. Just want to make sure my sound isn't too high again. And yeah, now we just move on to the deployment. So what I normally do for the deployment, just to make sure all my troops are in the right location, is that I order them all to move to one province, and then once they get there, I'll divide them up into their base. Like, normally in this game you got divisions, which are the composition of many brigades of different types, and so what that means is I'm just going to break them down into the brigades and then form them back up to my liking as infantry regiments, as militia regiments, as cavalry, whatever I may need. Looks like consumer goods demand is going down, so I'm just going to keep most of the... Uh-oh, that's what I forgot to do. So yeah, in the intelligence menu, I normally just put max on my own territory, and, well, just have them automate the spies. Just make sure, put a little bit of leadership into spies, so I always have an extra in case my guys are taken out, but it shouldn't happen too frequently. And there are a lot of events that pop up on screen, but I've read them many times before, a while ago, so I'm just gonna kind of skip through most of them. So I'll leave them on screen for a second, but then I'll just click close without reading over it myself. So if you would like to read it, then you can just pause the video whenever one pops up. Okay, so just hovering over this, we see that we have quite a lot of infantry, which is the little crossed X in that little white box to the right hand side. And then we have the dot is artillery, the cross with the star is, or the X with the star is the special troops I get. I believe for Austria-Hungary I get something, actually I have no idea what I get, I'm gonna check later on. We also have quite a bit of mountain troops, which is the X with the little, I suppose mountain below it. And you got 19 cavalry, which is just a straight line going from bottom left to top right. Then engineers are those little squares with, I can't even describe that. And then you got, well, HQ is obvious, and then the M, but it looks like the infantry except it has an M in it, is the militia troops. So what I normally do is I'm going to just go through here and select everything that is select everything that's a HQ and just disband them, so that way I can just form them back up the way I would like, rather than, well, the way the AI starts off with it. Even though this is like not historical, because this is, I suppose, a historical composition of the Austro-Hungarian army, I just can't use it. I'm gonna put it to something I want to use. And pretty much this is what the next couple episodes is going to be like until World War I starts. It's just me messing around with stuff. And you cannot disband, like, there's one HQ in this army we cannot disband, and I believe that's like the six X's here means it's a feeder level, which means it has like the operational control for this whole region. Like if you click here, you see this is all under the command of KUK Österreich's Army Oberkommando, and that's pretty much like the headquarters unit. It's like your ministry of that region for the army, sort of thing. And it's always led by a field marshal. He's a decent field marshal. And the second thing you want to do is just that detaches everyone who's left connected to the feeder group. I don't have any particular plans for what to do with this, like my navy, so I'm just gonna probably let them sit for now, or I might even just disband them. I'm gonna have to let these two ships finish simply because it would be a waste if I just got rid of them now, or stopped construction of them now. I'm just gonna change this just slightly. I know basically no German, but I know the words, and I've learned those words sort of in from just taking a look at what the different corps level, army level, and army corps level have, and I'm just gonna put the German words in for like the HQ units, but that's pretty much it when it comes to putting naming regiments. Just get reinforcement a little bit up. I see wasted now. Like, reinforcement takes so little sometimes, unless you're mobilizing your army. So, I could probably... Once the upgrades are, for the most part, finished, I'm going to start production of more infantry regiments, but until then I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, so, the HQ unit, go back to Vienna. We've got a mountain, another couple of mountains. Militia, cavalry, infantry. Well, infantry can just stay here. Just keep clicking, just keep clicking. Cavalry, militia, cavalry, militia, cavalry, infantry. And this is pretty much how many games go, though everybody has their own way of playing. This is just the way I do it. And it's just to help with the way I manage things, because I'm not the greatest at multitasking, so I like to just keep it paused, and this helps out because I know where everything is and don't have to guess. Okay, it's stormtroopers. That's my like super powerful unit. Oop, I missed one of the mountain regiments. Too big of an army for me to handle, it seems. Yeah, so I'll just advance time a bit, let everyone get to their destinations, and I'm gonna have to look through here for that one mountain regiment I left. There we go. So now that everybody is separated into their overall base, now I'm gonna just start dividing them even further. Cavalry, probably gonna disband most of it and only keep a little bit, because I have no need for that much cavalry. Where's the I think the militia must be in with one of these regiments, so I'll get it later on. Now what I do is... Okay. So we got unit of 2, unit of 2, unit of 2. I don't know if I want to keep the engineer within the mountain regiment, so I'm just going to put him there to differentiate him. I got 2, and I got unit 2. Okay, so I'm probably going to keep my mountain infantry in units of 2. Well, actually I'm going to put them in units of 4, I think. Probably makes most sense, to be honest. Oh. Do you not want to merge? Oh yeah, in this game, freeze the maximum until you get the upgrade for it. Forgot. So I'm just going to keep him at 2 for now. Yeah. Got a couple of mountain troops. And to be honest, where is it? Yeah. Simplified terrain. This gray is mountains and the hills is the brown. So I'm probably going to deploy them on the Romanian front just to... most of the mountains are within my own territory. So, it's the sort of thing I'm going to have mountain troops on the Italian border in case they betray me in Germany. If not, they're going to be on the Romanian border for when Romania eventually decides to start attacking me. Which is going to be fun, like always. So, these guys are good to go. They're going to be formed into corps eventually, just not right now. I wonder... Yeah, they're good to go. And what's... I got cavalry. Cavalry. 1 cavalry goes there. Well, as long as they can be differentiated between... You can stay here. So we got 1 unit of cavalry all by itself. That unit of cavalry by itself is probably going to end up joining one of the bigger regiments of like a special sort of troop that has infantry in it or artillery in it or something. Haven't made up my mind quite on that. Okay, so engineer infantry go there, just infantry, engineer infantry, artillery infantry can go here. Not many of my units are going to have artillery infantry. You can go here. Okay. More so than I thought. We're gonna go here. It's the sort of thing, there's not much to say, and I'm sorry for that. This might be a bit boring. But it's just necessary for the first couple years of the game. Okay, it looks like most of our regiments are actually good to go. Except, what is this one? Militia in it? How outrageous. Okay, you go down and join these guys. Okay, so it looks like we got quite a lot of the infantry. These are, like, every regiment that has infantry artillery already in it is ready to be put into a corps and sent to the front, or one of the front tiers. These guys, who are infantry engineer, are gonna have to get their engineers removed from them and put with artillery. These guys are just infantry. Those guys just need an artillery piece, and this guy needs an infantry and artillery piece. So I'm gonna have to go through that sort of thing. It's just easier just to separate all of them. Let's see. Oh, keep messing up the controls. So we got 5 extra engineers who are going to be joining cavalry regiments, because engineers help with attack over rivers and into fortresses. So I'm going to, for now, have them attached to cavalry, and then when I get the upgrade that allows for 4 units per brigade, I'm going to put them in with 2 infantry, 1 artillery, and then do 1 engineer, and it's going to be basically fortress buster units. They're going to be pretty powerful on the attack. And to be honest, this unit, like a special stormtroopers unit, is going to be just kind of the home guard in a way for the capital. Oh, looks like Japan just annexed Korea, but they technically already owned Korea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Messed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna just let them go where they need to, because I feel like I keep messing it up. Okay. Okay, and you go here. That way we have basically we have a full army right here of infantry that's able to be sent to one of the troublesome areas. What's this? Okay. I just wanted to see if there's a hotkey for it, but it looks like there's not. And these guys are just gonna be left alone for now. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. They're gonna be these guys are just like also just quick. I guess a quick little tip here is you click that, you select every unit in the who's attached to this army. It's quite useful. They're all going to be just deployed to Lviv. And from here, it's the sort of Finn. They're going to have to be deployed along the Russian border. Ooh, upgrades are expensive. Consumer goods are always... You always want to make sure consumer goods are demand that's met, because otherwise it contributes to dissent, and that lowers your overall industrial capacity until it's dealt with. So it's just better just to spend it. Upgrades are still going to take a while, so I'm just going to leave the upgrades still. It's going to be the priority for now. Now I'm just going to rename these all because I just can't stand looking at... I'm sorry to anyone who speaks German, because I have the feeling like I'm just basically taking the German words and putting them in English sentence structure, and I have the feeling that's going to be wrong. So, sorry for that, but it's just the way it is. That's not the way that is. And, yeah, I just want to apologize in advance. Because if you stayed with me this long, you're probably gonna be a bit aghast at some of the spell here. And if I'm not butchering this, please let me know. And if I am, you will let me know anyway, so I can fix it. I don't want to be one of those people who just writes the wrong pin all the time. So we got one army here. Now we're just going to connect it to the headquarters. We're going to take one corps and move it to that region. And every corps is going to pretty much... Because the way I deploy my troops is going to be 2 divisions, 2 divisions, 2 divisions. Like it's just going to be 2 on every sort of frontier territory, except for maybe these 2, because that's going to be a waste of my time to try and defend. And maybe... I don't know, Krakow might be worth it. It's just the sort of thing, you gotta make the call whether or not you can sacrifice regions or should you defend them. Yeah, you guys go here, and let's just let these guys move for now. Because if I do it all when it's paused, then I begin to lose track of where everyone should be. Okay, so we got a nice little defensive line here with this river, but it is plains, and then the rest of it, this isn't the greatest defensive line because it's all plains, and plains don't give you any benefits. Like, even the woods and the forest give you benefits to defense, unlike, well, I just said the plains. So you always want to, whenever you form a defensive line, you're always going to want to look out for the terrain bonuses for defenders. It's just better that way. And you go here. And then one more there. You go there, here. It's just trying to maintain a sort of composure for all my units. the only problem is this place is so easy, like, it can be attacked from 3 different sides. 4 if you count if we lose this. So it's not really worth keeping, but it has a fort, it has quite a decent amount of infrastructure, and has 2 industrial capacity, so that makes it, unfortunately, something I have to defend. Where's it? There we go. You can go here. Looks like there's a revolt going on in Mexico. Again. But hopefully it'll be settled up soon enough. Not like, because Mexico has a chance to join Central Powers in this war due to a event which I cannot, like, remember the historical significance of. Something to do with the Germans sent Mexico a telegram stating that they would be given something if they attacked the States, and the States intercepted it. It's not good times at all. I believe, yeah, our two texts just got finished, which means that we can move on to probably just more doctrines. Doctrines are always good. We got a lot of these regions are covered. We don't have to worry about so much because they don't, like, Scissorin doesn't really have to be protected as much, because unless the Russians push through the German lines, or my own, because they're not bordering, even though it does kind of look like they are. And you guys just get deployed into formations. I'm gonna abandon Horodok and Volyovchisk, simply because it's just not worth my time to defend 2 pieces of land that pretty much have no value. It's just gonna be a waste of my time, yeah. And now that we have pretty much, like, that's 25 divisions all ready for combat, and it only covers like half of what we needed to, and that's not even like, we're gonna be at war with Serbia, Montenegro, and maybe even Italy, so we're gonna need a lot more troops, and we're gonna need them to build them within the next 4 years. So it's just gonna be sort of a question, are we gonna have enough? And the answer is gonna be hopefully yes. Oh yeah, we're gonna need that for sure. I'm pretty sure all the artillery texts are done for another couple years. Infantry texts are done now. I'm gonna just get that just because we're not gonna need Arctic warfare at all, I don't think, because Germany is gonna be handling the northern part of the Russian front. Wait. Okay, I need 2 more texts. So I'll get the 2 that improved cavalry. And how are the upgrades? Still more upgrades. I'm just gonna ignore upgrades for now. I'm gonna go into production. We don't need supplies so much until we're actually at war. So, like, my troops can go out of supplies for a bit and lose, like, take losses, because it doesn't matter, because they're reserve troops anyway. Well, they're not reserve troops, but they might as well be. We're not at war right now, and we don't plan on being at war for another 4 years. So, we need 1 infantry. Oh, like, this is where you make a division plan, and then you just build that, like, that template. And you can choose as reserves or, like, actual strength. I normally do as reserves simply because it lowers the demand of consumer goods when you're at peace, because they're not mobilized. And on an actual, like, social scale, it just means that all the men are home and working, and the economy is still doing well because there's a lot of employed people and everything who are in the industries. So yeah, so probably gonna just build reserves for the most part. So we got the 1 infantry that we need, and then just double check, we need 5 pieces of artillery. Wait, there we are. So these already have their own artillery. We need 5 pieces of artillery for them, plus an, so we need 8 pieces of artillery. No, yes, my math's alright. So normally you want to build serial rather than parallel, because parallel builds at the same time, where serial's in sequence, and sequence just, it takes longer, but it doesn't use as many resources, which is nice. That should be about 8. So now that's well, 8 more regiments, plus these 3, so it's going to be 11 regiments that we have that are going to be ready to be deployed within like a year's time. And by deployed, I mean deployed to the front. Like, these guys could be deployed right now if I wanted, so, and by that I mean I'm going to deploy them. But normally I wait until I have a full corps, and then I send it off to the front, because I don't like piecemeal and sort of stuff. It just doesn't seem right to me to send 3 divisions under 1 corps to an area where we're going to need the full corps, and I'm going to be just tricking myself. So we got the first. Okay, so you guys can move to about here in the mountains. And these militia troops, I'm going to merge them into regiments and all that, and they're going to become infantry. I don't really have much of a need for militia, and since these guys, you can tell the approximate size of a regiment by how many men it has. Like this one, you can guess has 1 because of its low number, whereas this one has 2. So this one has 1, so they merge. This one have 1, and this one have 1. And this guy is just like a full strength. Wow, okay, they have 3. Oh, okay, so I can just take one of these guys and put them. There we go. So there should be, every one of them has their own regiment now, and it looks like that is the case. And eventually these guys are going to be upgraded to actual regular infantry. It's just that they're needed. Well, they're not needed right now, so there's no need for them to move anywhere. Might as well keep them all in one place. And to be honest, I'm probably just going to disband this 1 cavalry. So we got, okay, you guys go there. These engineers are going to form up with some cavalry regiments. So we're going to need 5 cavalry regiments. And the engineers are going to go meet them there. Then we'll have our first cavalry corps, and they're going to be pretty much like, not quite what I would call reserves, but they're going to be the guys who go in to help out whenever there's like a breakthrough. They're going to help out by counterattacking, by taking territory for the infantry, so the infantry don't have to basically force march their way around everywhere. We got 8 more cavalry. Might make a second corps of cavalry, might not. Haven't decided yet. It depends on how well the war goes in the early stages. Looks like everyone's doing alright so far. Like, you do have options when it comes to moving your troops. You can, well, force march them somewhere, but they cannot attack for a while afterwards due to the effects of having to recover, rest, and all that. So it's not really worth it when you're at war, but when you're at peace, or like it's a long, long way from the front, then it is kind of worth it. And then just walk them the rest of the way. What did we finish? We finished civil defense and supply. Supply is always good because it allows it to be more efficient. You don't waste as many supplies in transport. And, well, civil defense just allows you to repair structures that are bombed or damaged in any way much faster. Probably gonna get that too. It's the sort of thing, just need to look for the really good, well, not even really good, just any doctrine that improves infantry and cavalry right now is what I need. And even if they're ahead of time, it's still alright. For the duration of the war, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to keep my navy at port. I don't quite know if I'm going to be doing anything with them, wow, those fools. Simply because I'm just not good at navy combat in this game, and I'd rather not try and learn while doing a series on it for you guys, so I'm just going to leave them for now. Probably put them on AI control. Oh good, these guys arrived here. So this corps can go north. You go there, and you go there, and you go there. Just so we can hold off any sort of Russian attack. Looks like Albania is trying to revolt from the Ottomans. Doesn't look like they're doing so well. And by them, I mean the Ottomans. Not many destroyers in the fleet, so they're kind of vulnerable to the submarine sort of ships, but, well, I don't manually use them and I don't care if I lose them. So, it's alright. No, it's not alright. Okay, it looks like the first infantry brigade is done, so you can go and join your friends in this place in Hungary. It's alright, this place in Czechoslovakia. Ooh, uprising in China. Seems like this is just the year of the uprisings so far. Let's take a look. You just joined me. First one. And you guys go off, join 6th Infantry Corps and just move over there. Ah, no! It cannot be. The game has crashed. Probably screwed up my recording too. Well, I'm gonna leave this episode here. Leave a like, comment, or a subscription if you're feeling generous, and I shall see all of you in the next episode.